or collaborations that you could mention?
I feel for now it is duo because the event is for the Kenya Forest Service and the City Park Community Forest Association.
Right.
Those are the main people, but we also have the stakeholders. We have the Architecture Association of Kenya that helped us a lot with the landscaping and water views. We have the National Museum, as I have said. There is also the stakeholders around those, the Aga Khan, the people of there. We have the market, and even the people of Karura Forest. Yeah.
Apart from today, since this is called the City Park Participatory Forest Management Plan, which means that participation is what we are expecting from everyone between 2023 to 2027. I know that one of the things you said people can do to contribute is to attend today, first of all, right? But then between now and 2027, what other activities can I do to ensure that I'm also participating in this PFMP?
If you are a lover of bees, we'll be having beekeeping. If you're a lover of nurseries and trees, we'll be having a nursery. If you're a lover of culture, I'll be there for you. If you're a lover of waste management, we'll be doing there. There will be a user group there of my very good friend Joseph. If you're a lover of ecotourism, that is the main agenda of City Park. We are going to, the main activity will be ecotourism.
Right.
Yeah.
Should other city parks or other parks around the country also, do they have a participatory management plan, or should they also if they don't have one?
When I started, I said that the Forest Management Act of 2016 said that all forests must be managed by Kenya Forest Service in conjunction with the Community Forest Association. So even Arboretum has a CFA. Even Karura Forest, the people who made Karura Forest to be what it is now, it is the CFA. The people that they call themselves the Friends of Karura. Those are the CFA of Karura.
All right.
So CFA is the people who are, you see, the Community Forest Association, what they will be doing, managing the activities. You see, everything that will be happening in the park, if you are going to come up with a swimming pool, it is according to the CFA members. Those are the people who manage that swimming pool.
Whatever activity that will happen.
Yes. The only work the KFS have, it is to protect and manage. Like guarding, they will be just there on the gate. Richard is coming, show me your ID, make sure you don't have a plastic bottle when you're going inside. That is their work, only that, protection. But the activities that you're going to do inside there, it is CFA.
All right.
Yeah.
So other CFAs around other parks should also show up and come up with, if they don't have such a PFMP.
I think I have been seen even before us. That's why we were complaining, because we cleared our PFMP very early, but it was signed. It will be signed today.
Okay.
That is almost a year. Other CFAs finished after us, and they were already signed.
All right.
You see?
I see.
So every forest is having a CFA.
Okay. What as a community led organization, are there milestones that you will set to see if this is implemented between 2023 and 2027? What things can we take a look at to say, maybe the implementation was actually done correctly?
We'll follow to the latter what we have in the PFMP, because if you go against the PFMP, any person can go to court.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is not just it is not a light thing. It is a very heavy thing, because a lot of people are there. Even me myself, I know there are some people who don't want me to be in the CFA, because it is not just something small. It's something big. Again, our first agenda for the forest, it is security. In the forest goals, the first thing is fencing. You cannot manage a park that is not fenced. So that is the resources we are looking for. Even today, if the chief conservator is coming, or even the ministry, we are going to request for funds for fencing the park. First things first.
Right, fencing first, so that we are protecting already what we have, and then we can build up from that point. That's a good call to action as well. And I think at this point, maybe to call out to the audience, wale ambao wata make time, they should come through. This is a chance again.
Okay, thank you everyone. I think, Richard, when you started, I heard you talk about Kigali.
Yes.
And I want to tell Nairobians, the things that make Nairobi the best city in Africa, it is the richness in green spaces. Actually, I'm an urbanist by profession. I did urban planning. And when we look at how sustainable cities are, we look at how the green spaces that they have. Imagine New York. Do you think New York even have any green space where people can go relax even after job? They can go bask on the sun, sleep on the grass. We are really privileged in Nairobi for having these green spaces, and it is high time for people to visit this place. If you have not visited City Park, please do. We have the memorial, the Peace Memorial. If you go to the Murubi Peace Memorial, there's a lot of art. The Bird of Peace, the African Woman, the graves, the itineraries of the works of Joseph Murubi. We have in the Nyongesa, you see the sculptures of Nyongesa. It's a very good place to be in. And I urge people, please visit these parks whenever you are free. Now that we are going to fence City Park, come do your events in City Park. We have 64 hectares of land to your disposal.
All right. There's a lot of space there for you to enjoy nature and also to participate towards conservation efforts. How does this fit in the resolutions made at the Africa Climate Summit? Does it?
Yeah, it does. Carbon sinks. We have the biodiversity conservation. We have if people love bird watching. There's a lot of things, connection of this forest, even the water availability. You know that the Kilbargari River, that water is drunk downstream. But I have I take every day I go to City Park, I have to take a photo of the river. It is purely Nairobi Sewerage Company. It is not a river.
It is not a river. It is Nairobi Sewerage Company's point of disposal. So we are hoping to have a change in that and having broader conversation around environment and sustainability. Thank you very much, Deno, for creating time for us today here. Maybe just about the event, because it's something we mentioned at the beginning. We've been also discussing of the events. A call out again for people to come through to the event, and then we wrap it up.
I have no much to say. It's just that I am so happy today that I will go home, my efforts being rewarded by signing of the PFMP, and I request the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, please look for resources for us. Even the President of the Republic of Kenya, please, Nairobi City. You know, even the other day when we had the African Climate Summit, I was looking at that the website that we were loading in. They had very good thing about the giraffe, but a lot of things hidden down there. Why don't you just be truthful? This is the state. Because like rivers and flooding, now we are talking about flooding and climate change. They are not just a Kenyan problem. It is multilateral. So Uganda has something to do with our floods coming downstream like that. So it is multilateralism. And if the world does not come together in one goal, these things will never be achieved, not even food security.
All right. That is Dennis Kimani, the CEO of the Green Youth Society. The City Park Participatory Forest Management Plan will be launched today at 11 a.m. at City Park. So if you want to join, entrance is free.
It is free.
Entrance is free of charge. So go there, participate in the activities. There will be tree planting, there will be fencing, there will be conversations, there will be painting, there will be fun happening there as well. So make sure, if you have time, to pass by City Park to see what exactly is happening and what will be the framework between now and 2027. Asante sana, Deno.
Shukran.
And all the best with today.
Make sure you visit me.
All right. That is an invite from Deno, and I'll make sure that I find my way there. But for now, I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm coming back with more conversations. Remember, the ReImagine Plus CEO is here with us this morning, and we are going to have a discussion, of course, from a digital and a human-centric perspective. Pauline Machara is already gearing up to come through to set, so don't go too far. I will be right back with her.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
What are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that you are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Readiness Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
To the Church O'Clock. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Terror.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo umetune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Niambie repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
All right, thank you for keeping it here on KUTV Rise. Today, if you're interacting with us on social platforms at KUTV Kenya, on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, is where we are taking a look at your comments. And so far, of course, here on Twitter, I'll be giving a shout out first to Maxim Simona, then to TK and Nimulsima as well, tuning in. Get a Room, also interacting. Musyoka Mwasia, all the way from Juja, watching the show. Ambugi with Dahudi, watching all the way from Kisumu. That is Mbugi Brian, interesting name there. Jako Juang, also back in the country, anasema at least I enjoy the show closer home. He's been watching us from Turkey, but now he is closer on Thika Road and following through with the conversation. We had a launch here with the CEO of the Youth Green Society, talking about the City Park Participatory Forest Management Plan of 2023 to 2027. This is a plan or an initiative, a framework, if you may, that will be taking care of City Park. They are going to launch that today at 11 a.m., fencing the City Park, tree planting exercise, and a couple of other activities that you should be excited to go and participate in. It's free entry, it's free lunch, it's free fun, so why not? Please join there and then get to see what will be the plan of the City Park Community Association towards taking care and conserving that area, which has been so far neglected, according to Dennis Kimani, who isn't so happy with the sewage and the way that the cemetery there is being treated. There's also a lot of art, culture, and heritage that you can get to enjoy, so please be there or be square. I'm coming back with the CEO and founder of ReImagine Plus Limited. We're going to discuss customer experience versus customer service, but also how do we get a human-centric transformation in this way in which we relate with our customers, but also how can we get strategic customer experience initiatives, and why is it important for your organization? Stay tuned. If you're a business person, small or large, this is a conversation for you on Biashara Tuesday. The hashtag is hashtag Biashara Tuesday. I'll be right back. The ReImagine CEO, Pauline Machara, is here with me, and we are trying to achieve a human-centric digital transformation. We'll be highlighting that, but also taking a look at customer experience and why that is important for you. Let me allow her to introduce herself first, and then we can get into the details of this conversation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
This early morning, and I'm looking forward to a good conversation.
Right.
A little bit about myself. I'm the CEO and founder of ReImagine Plus, an organization which focuses on empowering organizations to be more customer-centric for business growth. Why is that important? Well, who are you selling to? Ultimately, we are all serving somebody. Can be an internal customer or an external customer. So how do we make our engagements more customer-centric, that we are actually achieving the end goal of what it is that we want to sell or offer as a service.
All
So
right.
that's what I do.
Okay. ReImagine Plus.
Yes.
It's a show of young people, so we're used to iPhone Plus.
I know.
Samsung Plus. So I'm guessing, was there ReImagine and then ReImagine Plus?
You know, when I came up with the name, the thought process was around, there's so much going on in the world. We have to reinvent, recreate. So I'm calling out and saying, let's reimagine our landscape. And that makes it unlimited. What can you imagine and make it a plus? If you're going to offer that experience, imagine the experience you're offering today. How do you imagine making it endless? Such that it is in a space where you're meeting your customers' expectations. In addition to that, customers are connecting to you. You know, customers buy because they have a connection. When you're offering that customer experience, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. When you offer customer experience, you're tagging at somebody's heart. Customers, they buy their funds. They give you their hearts. So what is it that you're offering that is connecting to their heart? If you don't connect to the heart, they will not stay.
Okay.
When you're offering a service, let's say, for example, you're running a car business. You just started a small car business. The service that you offer when the customer comes is what is going to keep them. You've connected to them at a family level, at a friendship level. You know, there's that guy you normally go to. That is what we're talking about here.
All right. There's a very human element in
Absolutely.
most of what you do. Why is that very key for you?
You know, in this evolving, there's a lot of evolving technology. Innovation is coming like a flood. But we cannot forget the human element. People buy from people. If as much as technology is good, it's to enhance the experience. However, this person wants to understand and know that you're addressing their need. What was my need today? Maybe I wanted a cup of tea. How are you serving me that cup of tea? Connecting to that person to that level in terms of you're offering them that cup of tea because they came in, they were thirsty, it is cold outside. They're like, oh, these people are really thoughtful. They offered me a cup of tea. So connecting to that human element is what is important. As much as we're getting into technology, there are those people who prefer to engage at a personal level.
Right.
Yes, and it depends on the product.
I'm actually really concerned recently of how detached we've become on a human level, because with technology, with advancement, now we have bots to serve us as customer service. We have automated services. It lacks that human element, and I think it's important then, if you're doing this, that we, move back to our hearts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, whenever you are dealing with a customer, what are you selling? You're selling a customer promise. That customer promise is what people resonate with in your brand. So when you're offering that element of connecting at a human level, you're right, human level. Am I able to talk to someone? You know, after a while, you get tired of pressing 1, press 2, press 3. I need to talk to somebody. I am tired of pressing this button. Because sometimes you find that as much as we have technology coming in, yes, there's this what we call predictive analysis. It will analyze based on your last interaction. It will analyze and see, what can I offer? That is very data-based. That's one element of it. There's personalization. I want a personalized service.
Right.
It is based on maybe how I shop, how I interact with that app. Then it will offer me the next best offer. What does that mean? Business will grow. Because there's that human element. I've tried to understand your needs. I've put it in the machine learning. But there's also that element of like, have I been able to capture your heart in what I'm offering you?
Right.
Yes.
So I'm being assisted by technology, but also still taking care of your human needs.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
You cannot negate that.
I'm actually one of those people who, when I'm calling customer care, and there's actually maybe 5 or 6 options. It's like, if you have an issue with this, press 1. If you have an issue with that, press 2. I always skip all the way until I get to the agent part, because I know this is all automated, but I want to talk to someone. I want someone to hear my needs, even if they might not help me, but at least someone else does know what I'm going through. So let's get into it now. What is customer experience and what is customer service, and how are those different?
You know, when you look at customer service, it's an assistant. So, for example, you assist me up the stairs, that's an assistant. The experience is now looking at the end-to-end journey. See, like my journey here, from my house to here, informed how this interview will go. Because if luckily I had a good experience. So, and it's raining, and it's raining. You know, when it's raining, everybody is not, how do you say, they're not, I think we forget how to drive when it's raining.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens.
Somehow.
Suddenly you're backed up and everything, so you have to plan your journey early. I planned my journey early. And as I was driving, the experience was good. There was no traffic, there was no accidents. By the time I get here, I had my Google Maps. By the time I get here, I ask the askari, he tells me turns there. That forms part of my experience with Kenyatta University as I got here.
Right.
So what does that mean? Customer experience is every interaction you have with a product or service in that organization until the time you purchase. The first step is, how do you become aware of it? It's the marketing material. It catches your attention. If there's a number, a telephone number, or a social media, you go to the social media and now try and see what do they have. That is a journey. If I go through that journey and let's say, for example, I go to the website and it's down, I'm like, this one not serious.
Yeah. Even if their product is good.
Yeah, they're like, this one not serious. Yeah. So then you dismiss it. You know, so with the young people, I urge them, as they're creating, you're very creative. We have very creative minds in this nation. We are the solution. The young minds in this nation are the ones who are going to bring solutions, because they're the ones who see these things every day. Have a way, as you're being creative, as you're developing your products, have a way that you get feedback. That feedback will inform the products that you're going to develop. And the what we call, there'll be elements of looking at the customer journey end to end, so that you can identify where are the pain points, remove the pain points. Where are the what we call wow moments of truth? Enhance those. And that will help your business to grow.
Right.
Yes.
Which brings me to the next question there.
Yes.
When I'm taking a look at all this as a business, it feels like I'm just pleasing my customer, right?
Yes.
It's all about the customer and all about them getting the best experience. But how does this help me? How does this help my growth?
In terms of helping your growth, let me ask you something. When you're running a business, why are you there? That's the first question you must answer. Why are you there? Are you addressing a need, or are you there to make just money? Money you'll make. But if you address the need of the customer in the beginning, they will now tell others, what we call word of mouth. They will tell others, they'll tell others, referral business, repeat business. Yeah? So you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. You want to build what we call customer evangelists, the ones who will go and talk about your product in a positive manner to help your business grow.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a team. I've been running this business for a while now. We've all been about customer service, and then we leave it there. How do I shift and upskill my team to deliver a good customer experience?
I'm glad you asked that question. One of the things that makes a good experience, you see, customer service is part of the experience. What makes the experience good? It's the training you offer. Consistent training to empower the teams to be able to answer the questions quickly. So if, let's say a customer calls and they have a problem, are they empowered to give the right answer and offer the right solution in the shortest time possible? That is what customers are looking for. How do we achieve that? We offer training through my company. We offer training for customer experience. We also offer training for effective team leadership, effective team cohesion. You know, watching over the next person, being your brother's keeper in the office workplace. So those are some of the things that we do. And also the other thing is, as your organization is growing, it's important to scale up. So go back to the drawing board. Your strategy that you have in place and the customer experience strategy, are they aligned? Are they talking to each other? Breaking down the silos between departments, making sure that everybody is talking the same language. This is achieved when you have the customer centric approach.
Right.
Yes.
So I have upskilled my team. We've broken down those silos here and there, and now we're delivering a customer experience that is worthy of our stature at this point.
Yes.
How do I gauge the effectiveness? How do I know it's actually worked?
One of the ways that you're able to measure if what you're offering is successful and the training was successful. One, it is basically the customer who's going to tell you. The voice of the customer is very important. That can be measured through customer satisfaction surveys, going back to the customer. And most importantly, we cannot neglect going on the ground and actually talking to the customers. How many times do we engage with those customers as the leaders of the organizations? And that's a challenge I keep telling leaders. Go and talk to your customers. What are they saying? Let's go on the ground. You know how they say, boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Go and hear what the customers is saying. Those are them semakwelis. They're the ones who are going to tell you whether you're doing a good job or not. That's one. There's also the element of customer retention, that they're not churning, as in customers are not exiting your business. They're continuing to grow and buying more products. And that's how you find that you have the increased share of wallet. Because they're happy with what you're delivering, you're giving them more, they keep buying more, they're referring to their friends. And like I said earlier, you're building brand ambassadors for your product. So it even becomes easy to market because it's your customers telling the story.
Right.
Yes.
This is all possible both on the digital front and offline.
Exactly.
Okay.
When it comes to the digital front, this mobile, especially in Kenya, we can't live without this gadget. This gadget has you can build in surveys or questions to get real-time feedback. For example, when you're traveling and you want to go to a destination, where is the first place you go to? People go to TripAdvisor to find out what are they saying about this. It will inform your decision. Why did somebody write that? Why did somebody give feedback that they had a good experience or a negative experience? Now it's up to the institution to see these comments. It's power, it's a currency. It helps you to grow your business because you're listening to the customer, you're taking the voice of customer and changing the product or service to make it better.
All right, so it's possible still with the digital divide.
Absolutely. The thing is, what I find is that when it comes to the digital divide, in fact, it's even more powerful because you have a wider base. It's data that is informing your decisions. So, for example, if you're innovating technology, the data that you're receiving from the app, because it's coming from the gadget, the data that you're receiving is going to inform how you're going to enhance this product that you're offering.
Okay. You earlier hinted just a bit about ReImagine Plus.
Yes.
We mentioned it and then umeongelea kidogo hapo katikati. Let's just talk about it now. ReImagine Plus, I'm walking in. What level of business should I be before I get to approach you? If I'm an SME, do I still get to benefit from what you offer, or is it how is it packaged for business?
Like I said, ReImagine Plus, I'd like to say it doesn't have boundaries in the sense that we cater for SMEs, we cater for corporates, we cater for high net worth individuals. Basically, we want to make sure that whatever you're offering, you're meeting the customer needs. And the advantage that I represent with this organization is that I have a breadth of experience all the way in Africa. I've worked in London, Singapore, and Dubai. Now brought that experience together, having worked also in other industries. So I've worked in the airline industry, I've worked in the telecommunication industry, I've also worked in the financial service industry, and also medical and security evacuation industry. So it's an environment where I can bring a lot to the table. So it's not limited. The most important thing is put the customer at the center of every decision.
All right.
And help organizations build their strategy towards that. You find that, allow me to just delve into this.
Sure.
You find that a lot of organizations, they'll focus on the numbers. No, actually change perception, change narrative, focus on what the customer is saying, focus on what the customer needs, not what you think they need. And the only way you'll find out about that is that human-centric we're talking about. Engage with the customer to actually understand what do they want and offer them that. So that is, this is, it sounds easy, but there's work and thought put through it. Yeah. When it comes to customer experience, there are also studies which have been done that 76% of CEOs are looking and investing in customer experience because they've realized that the only way we are going to survive in this ever-changing world is to make sure that our customers are happy and they keep coming back.
All right.
You find like even in Kenya, we have over 40 banks. What is a distinctive factor? It's the experience that you get. I'm sure you've interacted with a few banks here and there. And what keeps you going back to that?
The experience. Only the best experience.
The best experience is what you're going to cash in on.
Right. If I come and stay online for 5 hours just sitting on the bench, next time definitely I'm not coming. I'm going to the other guy who just has a 30-minute waiting period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, time is money.
Yeah.
So it's also respecting the customer. Customer wants to be respected. Respect my time. Respect my money. Respect what I am doing with my money. It is not your money, and that's something we need to change our trajectory. Yes, they're bringing the money in, but actually without the customer, it's non-existent.
I've actually thought about it on a very micro level, like a mama mboga. You know, I'm going to the mama mboga who's already peeled stuff for me, rather than the other one who's just giving me, you know, a longer process. So
shorten your journey.
Right.
It's all about the customer journey. It's all about the customer journey. This mama mboga, you know, there's in today's world, we want things very quickly. You don't want to go and, you know, as women, they don't want to go and stand in the kitchen. They want to make sure that everything is arranged and you quickly start cooking. You know, those are some of the things that the Mama Mboga will help us. That, and you will not go to everyone. There's
I'll
that
go to that
one
specific one. Even sticking to your baba. You know, all those very small details. Really
Why do you
matter.
always go to your baba? Why do you go to the same baba?
The customer experience is the best. You know?
Why is it the best?
Because he ensures that my time there is excellent, pampers me, you know, there's after wash and all of that.
See?
Kuna mwingine ataninyoa nipake ndimu kama nimetoka.
So, I like your baba. Already he has an evangelist right here.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yes, exactly.
You see, so I think, that's, then I have to agree because now I've already passed word to the next set of customers
Exactly.
who now will be excited.
Calls will be coming in. Who's his baba?
Yeah, sure thing. There's a very cliche statement that I wanted to avoid, but let me just bring it up. It's that the customer is always right. How do we contextualize this now? Is it about what they say? Because earlier on you mentioned that, you know, we need to do what the customer needs and not what we think they need. Is the customer always right?
Let me put it this way. Because service is very emotive, at that point in time, their emotions are valid. Their emotions are valid. Now it's for us to understand what was the issue, unpack the issue, and the way you unpack it is, you know, quickly do a root cause analysis. What is causing this pain for this customer? Sometimes you'll find there's a miscommunication, a misunderstanding.
It's nothing to do with your services.
No, it's nothing to do with your service. You did not communicate on time. I complained last week. You said you're going to call me. You have not called me back. You have not written back to me. I still not, let's say, for example, I'm still not getting my service. So in my mind, I am right because you have not addressed my problem.
Yeah,
do you understand? So it goes to appealing to the customer's emotion and the customer's need. At that point in time, I needed this service. You did not deliver for me. So as far as I'm concerned, my narrative sticks. I am right. You didn't engage me to understand my problem. You did not try and resolve it. There's no one getting back to me. It's like an abyss, a black hole. You understand? So those are some of the things when you look at that. I'm not evading the question. I'm saying let's dig deeper to understand what is the issue. Now, how do you achieve that? The only way you can achieve that is you've empowered your teams to provide solutions quickly, in a very quick manner.
Right.
Yes.
ReImagine Plus is empowering teams for businesses, small or large. Are there a range of services that you can break down now? For
yes. So what ReImagine Plus offers is enhancing customer centricity in your organization. What does that mean? That simply means that what is the service culture of your organization? What are the service standards in place? If you're operating in a regulatory environment, what is a regulatory environment? You know, we also have the Consumer Protection Act. How does Consumer Protection Act play into your organization? You know, when you're starting and you're building your business, it's important to lay the foundation right. And this is what I help organizations do. So there's that element. There's also the element of building effective teams to work cohesively so that they are all working together and making sure that the service that is being offered is meeting the customer needs. And I keep emphasizing that. It's meeting the customer needs, ultimately meeting the organizational need. The other thing I offer, and we'll get into that maybe at a later date, is emotional intelligence.
Okay.
You will have a customer who's so angry. You don't get angry with them. Simmer the situation down, simmer it down, really listen, actively listen to what this customer is saying and try and resolve it.
Sisema customer ni msumbufu, huyo customer anakuwa msumbufu achana na yeye.
Well, let me tell you, customer wakusumbua. Those are, let me tell you something, problems. Customer pain points are opportunities.
Right.
They're gold mines, because that's how we'll make your business better. You'll make the experience better, and naturally, customers will come in because now you've made it better. And that's why you find, like, for example, phone apps. Why are they always updating?
To ensure that your customer experience is always on point.
Exactly, because they found out there was somebody who complained, there was a glitch here, which is causing a lot of noise, and then people run into Twitter, so let's get it back here.
Right. For companies then, who've been watching, small or large, again, how do they reach to you for these services?
To reach me, my email address, I hope they'll type it on the screen there. It's reimagineplus@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram under PW Machara or LinkedIn. Inbox me and let's have a conversation. Let's change the narrative in our nation. Lately, we see the government has really been focusing on building and bringing new services. Who's going to implement this? It's us. Yeah, and we're here to offer solutions, all of us. Yeah.
Right. Speaking of the government, actually, even there's a recent launch of the universal health coverage, which will be bringing community health workers right to the doorstep. Even the government understands sometimes that, you know, it's important. Sometimes.
Let's work together. Let's work together.
Yes, that it's important that the customer experience is, you know, on point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to access your LinkedIn profile here, which is actually very broad and vast, very, you know, wealth of experience that you've had. It's impressive to take a look at. Young person who's watching, what can you tell them? What can you let them know?
Well, you know, that question, that one I have to look at, because that, for me, I pondered on it because I knew that it's something I want to leave behind.
Yes, please.
So when you look at it, from when I reflected on that question, one of the things that I felt is so important is around for youth to be successful. And we, you know, our population, the last time I checked the statistics, we're talking about 60% plus are youth.
Right.
For youth to be successful, and I hope you're listening to me, it is critical that you master self-leadership. Self-leadership is what is going to get you ahead. So, because if you want to lead up, you must always lead yourself first. If you can't, you have no credibility. You have to build credibility, that capital that people want to hear your voice. Have you built that credibility? And the other one is that if you can't lead yourself, others won't follow. What are we using our mouth to say? If I can't lead myself, others won't respect me. If I can't lead myself, others won't partner with me. In this world today, we need partnerships. How do you build those partnerships? One of the key things I tell the youth is understand stakeholder management. You'll be dealing with different stakeholders. Understand the landscape that you're dealing with. Once you understand that, the rest is history. And also, it's important to have a teachable attitude. Now, I'm in a university ground.
Yes.
It is important to have that teachable ground. Never stop learning. When you have that, never think that you've arrived. Nobody has arrived. There's always something new we're learning. I'm also learning new things every day. Yeah? Build strong relationships. See your customers as assets. They're not problems. They're your asset. They're the ones who are going to help your business grow. And remember, you are a blessing in your place of assignment. We all have gifts. We're here to serve a purpose. We are not an accident. We're created to be solution providers. What is it that you need to provide? What solution do you think you can bring to the table? Those are the things I'd like to send to tell the youth as they build up their
All right.
careers.
Let me then read a few comments and maybe one or two questions which might be coming from our audience
Yes.
Before we lock anyone out. Engineer Francis Maina, loving the show and watching from Kiambu. Jilo Mamu, awesome show going on. Biashara Tuesday is always so educative. I've learned a lot on customer experience. Sanesh, it's amazing how the show never disappoints. Thank you for watching. Victoria's World, tuning in from Thika. The show is lovely as always. I have here with me as well Abuya, and he's asking, earlier on I'd seen on your LinkedIn where you said, I think it was something or a conversation you were having a few days back, and you said that on your post you said, today's customer is highly informed. And there's a question regarding that, and it's huyu ni emotional. So this is someone talking about a customer, the experience. Huyu ni emotional na ako wrong. What do I do? The customer is so emotional, but they are wrong. How do they handle that kind of situation?
In a situation like that, your customer is emotional. Yes, the emotional. But remember, you have to take the higher ground. It's not a, it's not a contest.
Okay.
This customer is the one who's going to bring more customers. So as much as they're wrong, talk to them to understand what is it that they're wrong about. Can you recover what it is? There's something we call, in customer experience, there's something we call service recovery. Can we recover this service and turn around these customers? How do you do that? Engaging. Be the one who is calm. Also, that requires to have humility. Not to get into a combative. It requires you to have humility.
It's not a contest you want to win.
No. You can't win customers like that. It is all sorts of like, oh my goodness, okay. So, madam, nini ni mbaya? Na kusaidia namna gani? We always ask the question, how can I make it better for you?
Nasema nitie manager. Mimi nataka kuona manager.
Manager leo yuko, how can I make things better for you today?
Okay.
And really try and resolve the matter. And when it gets heated, like for example, if you're let's say for example you're in an environment, you're in a hallway and it's getting heated, remove them from the hallway. Go and have a quiet conversation with a cup of tea, simmer them down, or even a glass of water, simmer it down. Be the one to simmer it down. As you're resolving the customer's issue.
All right. Before I let you have your last word, I wish I had customers. So I don't know if KUTV is my customer or the people who are watching me are my customers, so that I could ask you to rate me on how my customer experience is like. But thank you very much for creating time for us this morning. We are hoping that later, because I had already watched an interview that you had with Tech Trends, who are people I also follow in the tech field, covering a couple of stories. Hopefully sometime then we get more time to discuss on the human-centric digital transformation.
Absolutely. Just to touch a little bit on that,
yes.
In the month of September, I was invited by Novacom Summit in South Africa, Cape Town, to come and talk about how customer obsession is a catalyst for innovation. So how do you come with that human-centric approach? Who are you creating for? That is the first question we must answer. We're creating for human beings. As much as we're doing it for technology, we're using technology, it's a human being who's going to use it.
Yeah.
So how do we make it very easy to understand? Are we engaging the customer, making it, humanizing it as much as we're getting into technology? So those are some of the conversations which are trending right now in the fintech space, which I'm very passionate about.
All right.
Thank you.
Pauline Machara is the CEO and founder of ReImagine Plus. If you're a business and would like to enhance your customer experience and customer service as well, please reach out to her on social media, especially on LinkedIn, where you can easily find her as Pauline Machara, and then let us know how that that went for you. Thank you very much for having this time with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's
been a pleasure, Richard.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Going for a short break. Remember to continue engaging with us on all the social platforms. I see Muthoni Mwangi loving the conversation. Bright Geda also saying great show. So I'll be back with more of that and the newspaper review panel, which is preparing to delve into the main headlines of the day today and also a dissection into the developments in business. So don't go too far. I'll be right back.
Mbona nyinyi na wawasha nkikula nyama choma tu firifiri na
niko na pesa kushinda babako kasikia vibaya uko kwenu kasikia vibaya
I want to flex my love. Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box. Just the show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you.
This year we have 3 theme areas: food security, nuclear energy, and then climate change.
And it unites those who believe in the harmony of human prosperity, vibrant ecosystems, pristine oceans, and stable climate.
Nuclear energy has the potential to address the pressing issue of energy poverty in Africa, where up to 600 million people have no access to reliable electricity.
You know, reggae music wasn't the most popular music in my neighborhood growing up. And I discovered it on the radio, and from the first moment, just couldn't stop listening.
And many people express themselves through music.
Music is a freedom of expression.
We want the music to reach the people.
They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. Traffic on I bring from the beginning. I gave you my heart, right from the start. Don't break it, Maria. I gave you my heart, right from the start. Don't break it. Wanna be my I'm an African.
So when you are sad and you listen to this song makes you happy, feel encouraged. The song gives you hope for a bright future.
Message to the world.
All talent, there's always room for improvement.
To have faith.
We can be lazy and wait until it's over, or work hard and, try to be ready whenever there is something to do. We can just be on point.
So we need to join hands and realize that together we can achieve.
For John so loved this world now, he gave his only begotten Son. Whosoever will believe in him should not perish but live. God did not send his Son to comfy, condemn this world, but through him this world might be saved. Oh my children, hear me now.
Baada ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia
kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu. Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila uoga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
and out of this world technologies.
Meet incredible scientists
and learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Be part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of ENGINE, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box. The show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, is the second advent is imminent.
This is my jam down. I say manami, I will never give up. Na hata nikisota the way. Show me something. Everybody wanna feel like me. You is like a river. Real thing, if I never mama, I wouldn't believe it. Hear me when I say just like
technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Oh man, welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. We are glad that you are patient enough to follow through the show all the way. But if you're joining us for the first time also, do let us know where you're watching us from. It is 8:46 in the morning. We've been here since 7 a.m. A whole team to prepare for you Biashara Tuesday. I'll be telling you who's behind the scenes later on, so that's something that you can look forward to. We're going to unmask the people who bring this amazing show for you Monday and Tuesday. But now this is a newspaper review section. I have with me the three main papers of the day: the Business Daily, the Daily Nation, and the Standard. So here, let me just go through the headlines, and then I'm going to let you know who's joining me here for a very wholesome and roundtable discussion on the headlines and the developments of the day. Let's start with the Business Daily, because this is a business show. The Business Daily on the front has prioritized these banks which are now tapping in. So it says banks tap 54 billion Kenyan shillings from CBK support on liquidity crisis. Banks tap 54 billion Kenyan shillings CBK support on liquidity crisis. This is a fund that supports lenders which have been hurt by the cash crisis. At least 3 banks have breached their liquidity ratios, and the Business Daily is saying that banks are tapping 54 billion, which is support from the CBK on their liquidity crisis. The Daily Nation, the headline there: NMS ghosts come for Uhuru's allies. The former President Uhuru Kenyatta, making headlines here. Is it 2028 already? Former President Uhuru Kenyatta here making headlines. The NMS ghosts come for Uhuru's allies. House team calls for a forensic audit of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services operations amid questions over the tendering for city hospitals after the Auditor General flags several irregularities in her 2021-2022 report. And then finally, the Standard: land evictions, blood, sweat, lies, ... That's the headline on the Standard. Land evictions, blood, sweat, lies, and Nidondo. So in spite of government promising peaceful resettlements and not forceful reclamation of public land, we've witnessed the events at Mavoko point to a change of mind and heart. So the question here is, what informs the recent orders? Land evictions, blood, sweat, and lies. That's what the headlines like on the Standard. Today, I'm back with a panel, and it is Ruth and Kimani who are joining me here. Last week we had Dennis Omondi and Mwadime Mwangi for a round table discussion like this one. So, good morning to you. How are you guys doing?
We are fine.
Right? Let me start with Ruth. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Richard.
Yes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
Yes. How's your morning?
My morning is amazing.
Mhm.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a beautiful Tuesday
Baridi
morning.
haikusumbui?
Hapana. Yeah.
Okay.
Not our portion.
Kazi ni moto.
Not our portion.
Right, Kimani, welcome back, man.
Thank you very much.
President Emeritus,
TVET Student Association,
right.
Chair, Kiambu Youth Council, and co-founder, that is Kiambu Youth Council, a student leader, a patriot. I am for the truth, no matter what it is for or against, because I'm a Kenyan.
Right. You're in all green. I noticed. We had an earlier discussion with the chairman of the Youth Green Society, so it's interesting to see you also all dressed up in green.
He should make me the brand ambassador of his organization,
right?
Because I think I'm best suited to represent the organization's interest.
Yes,
even in my dress code.
Yes, he was also draped in green. So Dennis Kimani, the YJ, you're also called Kimani. So
the coincidence.
I mean, this is a match made in City Park. You know. Right, let's get into the headlines. Kimani and Ruth, which is, first of all, you are in the newsroom, which means you've been going through editorial meetings and everything to do with headlines, and Kimani Wachira has been with me here a couple of times. Which editor really did it today, from the Business Daily, the Daily Nation and the Standard?
Well, I think I'd go with the Standard. It tells of the story just by looking at the headline. Land evictions, blood, sweat, and lies. Like literally, that's what is happening
in the land. Like the three most important.
The three
details.
most important: blood, sweat, lies. Yeah, because if you dive into the stories, you will see how much people are crying.
Right.
Those evictions are not a joke. They're, I think the Standard for me did it.
Right, Kimani. Standard also, or
I'll go with the Standard, but I'll say that the three editors who made the headlines were a bit lazy.
Oh, really?
I have a better one.
Let us know. What's the better headline?
The broken promises. Fuel, land, and unga promise. Because we are from a weekend where the price of fuel was raised. We are from a weekend where unga, the prices are going to be raised again because of the cost of fuel. We were promised that this government is going to be humane, quoting the president, speaking in Madare, that they are going to be humane and they are going to have winners take it home when it comes to land. All those promises have been broken within the weekend and yesterday.
Right.
So if I was in one of the editorial room, I would have gone with that as the headline.
Broken promises, land, fuel, and unga. Land, fuel, unga. And then you leave it at that. Okay, so next week kama kesho yule anashughulikia headlines afanye hivyo on the Standard. But wamesema the Daily Nation, the Business Daily, they're at the back of the class, yeah? Those do not qualify. The headlines are not so appealing. Well, NMS ghosts come for Uhuru's allies.
Well, the Nation tried because it's been long since we had anything about our Jaden.
Yes.
It's been quite a while.
Right.
So it's catchy, but I still give it to the Standard.
Okay. The Business Daily is talking about business. As always, banks are going bankrupt. Funny. But now they're tapping into 54 billion Kenyan shillings from the CBK. I'll get to that a bit later. Let's begin with the story that has won the headlines, which is the Standard: land evictions, blood, sweat, and lies. So here, in spite of government promises for peaceful resettlement and not forceful reclamation of public land, the events at Mavoko point to a change of mind and heart. What informs the recent orders? Page 4 and 5 of the Standard is what is carrying this story. Athi River homeowners who did not know that their land was disputed. So a conversation that is rocking the nation. One, people didn't know this land was grabbed, but also what is the ethical implication on the side of, the East Africa Portland Cements Company, but also the government. This demolition is affecting households, it's affecting schools, it's affecting public institutions. I saw pastors and bishops crying, kids who are supposed to go to school today and actually begin exams. I think it's one of the grades which are supposed to sit for their final exams starting today. They cannot be able to do that. Their schools have been demolished. People have lost their homes worth millions of Kenyan shillings, and they didn't know. They didn't know.
And the most painful part of this is it's also quoted in the Nation, and most of the houses that have been demolished, owners say that wamechukua na loan. These are loans you're taking. Others have used their pension to try and build a retirement home where you know, ushamaliza kazi, umeretire pale at 60. What you expect is to live peacefully. And then you wake up one morning, it's either utoe vitu nje ama we are demolishing with the whole thing. So it's so painful that they did not also know. Because it's also quoted up that the organization that was giving this, it's quoted, but it's not quoted. So for me, as a person going to look for land, me, if you show me the title deed, it's okay, I own the land. But now when you come to tell me that it's quoted, but it's not quoted, I won't understand. And I expect the government at least to give me some compensation, because I have the title deed, I have the documents, this is how I acquired this land. Now I don't care about the beef you guys have out there, but this is me. What am I going to get? I have a 4.5 billion loan, a 4.5 million loan. What am I going to do?
Right.
Nitalipaje?
They're quoting here, and I just want to know where exactly the problem is then. Here, there's one Catherine Njeri. Her properties are valued worth 4 million Kenyan shillings, and those have gone down. So she's quoted in the Standard saying, when I bought this land 4 years ago, I was given a copy of the mother's title, of the mother title. So that is the, you know, the mother of all titles, the title deed, right? When I searched at the Ministry of Lands in Machakos, aliipata. It bore the name of Aimi Ma Lukenya Society. Now it's a mystery that now the details which are coming out of this is that the land belongs to a cement factory. So if you do a land purchase in Kenya, you're told, please make sure you're doing a search within the Ministry of Land. But then you do a search in the Ministry of Land, and whoever is selling you, if Kimani is selling land to me, and I search the Ministry of Land and find it's Kimani, I'm confident. But then 4 years later, Ruth comes through and says, hey, Kimani grabbed this land. So what do I do with this kind of information going forward if I'm trying to purchase land? Kimani, where is the problem at? Title deals or title deeds?
I think we are having a nation that is led by dealership. This is a political problem. Few days ago, the president made a decree that he wants land. His appetite for land is questionable. He said that he wants land to expand EPZ to create employment. We have demolished houses. We are rendering people who used to work in those mansionettes, wasichana wa kazi, wa mama mboga wenye wanauza mboga kule, jobless, to create more land for EPZ. I'm an engineer. I know for you to construct a house in Kenya, the moment you just start digging trenches, kanjos are there. When I say kanjo, I mean the state department of, the county department of housing will come asking, do you have approvals? For you to get those approvals, you need to provide the title. In this case, they didn't have the title, but they had a share certificate and the mother title. I understand. I may not be a lawyer, but I understand. Anytime there is a case in court that involves land, that title is when you do a search, you get it is questionable. There is a way that these evictions and demolition by the government exposes the rots in the system. Because if these people who purchased did due diligence and found that these lands and all these properties, this land is has no issues, they started constructing. They paid for land rates before constructing. They were given approvals by the county. NEMA came. For you to connect that house with electricity, you have to produce another copy of the title deed. All those processes were done. Some of the houses are connected with sewer. This sewer is done by the county department of planning. What we are saying is this is exposing the rot in the entire system. And unless I hear that we have made arrests and prosecutions of everybody involved, it remains to be a broken promise by the Ruto's government. To add on that, this case was concluded on October 9th. Remember, the judgment was given on October 9th. People did not know that there was a case in court. You come and evict them on a Friday evening.
4 days later.
On a Friday evening. So that these people cannot go to courts asking for orders stop this demolition
during the weekend.
So I want to first call on the opposition, because they have not made any strong statement as Ruto did 2 years ago when 5,000 people were evicted in Kariobangi. I remember on top of the car in Mathare saying, and I will not quote, I will just read as quoted in the government. He was now seeking for votes. We want to make it sure that we are an orderly and human society that respect rights of everybody regardless of who they are and their financial status. He continues, my government will work with you so that we can have a win-win settlement where nobody loses the property or their homes,
right?
He said. That is what Ruto said, that he's going to work on a win-win situation. My question is, what is the win-win situation for the 150 students that were demolished? The school was demolished.
250.
150 were supposed to do an exam in one of the institutions. So what is their fate? And a nation that fails to invest in its youth is a nation that is destined to fail. These are the future of this nation. These students. Which nation demolishes churches despite riding on? One of your campaign promise was, sisi ni watu wa kanisa. Sisi tu ni watu wa Mungu. Hatutakuwa kama ile serikali ingine. Maybe to conclude this.
Right. Okay.
You look at it this way. Where are these demolitions happening? In whose background? As I said when I begin, this is a political problem.
Okay.
Because even the timing on a Friday evening, so that nobody can go to take court orders, the government needs to wake up, apologize to Kenyans, and also come up with a compensation plan that is going to compensate the billions of property lost and also prosecute.
Right. A woman is wailing here on page 4 of the Standard, a very sad scene of a woman wailing right in front of her house, which is being demolished in the background. A very sad scene to take a look at there. A U-turn on demolition, as Kimani has said there was a promise by President and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. There's going to be a very human approach when it comes to evictions and, reallocation of land. This is a historical injustice, Ruth, that, maybe predates all the way back to colonial times. We won the we won independence in 1963, and the land that the white settlers had taken suddenly belonged to only a few people after the whole country participated in, trying to deliver us from colonial rule. Will we ever get to a point where there's justice when it comes to matters of land, Ruth?
I don't think so. It's the future for land freedom is bleak in this country, because if you take a look at the situation we have in the river and also the one we had in Kariobangi, when these demolitions are done, one thing is always quoted: here are my documents, here are my papers. The county came to my place before Nijenge. Everyone I needed came when I wanted to build. Everyone I needed came, but then again you're evicting. So it's like. Land is one thing that pokes holes in our government, like in every day. So for us to get there, I don't think we have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go.
We have a long way to go, and we have to start by not lying too much, because the list of lies is getting too long. The list of lies is getting exhausting. If you're going to lie, at least lie to us not on camera. Lie to us mahali atukuni penye tutachukua video tuweke TikTok tuseme you told us this.
Yes.
So when it comes to land, I think this is something that should start from pale chini. Where did the rain start beating us? How do we come with all this? And if asked, I'm not pointing fingers, but I think this problem starts huko ndani kwa ministry. You guys are the ones allocating land. Why are you allocating land to two people? Well, in most cases inakuanga you're allocating land you are allocating a land that has a case.
Right. Or land that already has a title deed also. It's like there are duplicate title deeds.
It's like there are duplicate title deeds. And when my government does that, we are even going to fear to buy lands.
That's exactly where I'm at this point.
We are going to fear to buy lands. We are going to opt for affordable housing. We'll just be paying and not afraid that one day I'll wake up in a weekend without notice and people are just going to demolish my house.
Right.
Or maybe if I cut you short, or maybe that is the government strategy. You can continue.
Yes, so that they have enough to grab. Yeah?
Might be.
Allegedly.
And in the nation, there's a woman who says that she has lost 18 million
Wow.
worth of money from that demolition, and her house was not even a year old. The house was just turning 7 months
Very
old.
sad. That's very sad. Absolutely.
You know, it's so
bonkers.
sad, and it's very sad that well, I did see that a few leaders from Machakos and from the Kamba community have tried to speak, say that they are being denied to take food to take food serves to people who have been affected. I don't know, they are being denied to. You guys, no, me, I just have one question.
This is crazy.
Whenever we go demonstrating with high cost of living, why is this one not being given any importance?
Any priority, right?
Because people are going. I'm an education reporter, so this one is affecting the education. Guys are supposed to be sitting for their KIPSEA exams,
right?
Starting this week. And then I just don't get it.
Right.
I just don't get
the
it.
church here, which was demolished, that has a school as well with more than 250 pupils. They will miss the examinations, which are supposed to begin today, right? So that is happening there, and the complainants are saying they were unable to serve court papers, as Kimani also said there. Of course, declined the court. The court has no goodwill.
Even if they give a
at this
court order
point.
right now to stop the demolition,
Already
I don't think it's going to do any much. It's only going to help a few people who are lucky to
Imagine-
have not been caught up.
Imagine you acquired a title deed in 1980.
And then in 2020,
2023.
Not fair.
That's a long time.
Maybe that's why I say this is a political question. Well, if the government had goodwill, it would have focused on giving eviction notice.
Exactly.
In the entire story, we have not read that an eviction notice was given, was issued. As I said, and I take this blame to the president himself. He knew what he was doing, and that's why he dashed to China. He knew the problems he's creating. On Friday evening, he sends NYS and police GSU to guard those government properties that were demolishing. He knew that no one will rush to courts. And remember, we had a vitu ni tatu, mambo ni matatu declaration.
And remember, it's being trademarked, so tread carefully. Hapo unaweza pursue for copyright.
We must speak true to power,
right?
And we must not be afraid of anything, because the future's stake is at stake. When we have a president who makes a declaration that I want this land, and now we see tractors, and in the previous government we had that green excavator that was popular, but they didn't bring it. They bring many. Start evicting people at night. We have people who are taking medications and relies on the refrigerators in their house to store their medicine.
Just to cut you short a little, he mentioned something earlier about the appetite of acquiring land being enormous, being huge. And I remember an instance, I think it was last week, where the president himself said that if you've not used your land for 10 years, we are going to reacquire that land. So my question is,
It's a ridiculous statement. Is this part of that?
Is this part of what he was talking about?
To know that the market is actually really, really brutal. The East African Portland Cement real-time stock port ilipanda. So that's what I was trying to find here. After the demolitions, yani market haijali. Kuna wale watu walikuwa wamebet, ishapanda, pesa yao imeingia.
They're buying more shares. And maybe to add another question. And what is the difference between this land and Western land? A hotel, a land that was grabbed from Kenya Airport Authority's land. A hostel was built, and we have people on camera declaring and saying that yes, this happened. We can negotiate and pay for this parcel of land.
Right.
My question is, what is the difference between Western land and this land where we have seen excavators sent to demolish, and we have not seen excavators sent to demolish that hotel?
Right.
My other question is, this is not the only land in dispute in the nation. Why this place? Why Machakos? Why Ukambani area? And I remember a few weeks ago, there was a declaration that by the president that we are going to be facing Ruto and we are going to plan. We are going to be my opponent might be Kalonzo. He had said that a few weeks ago, and he said that he's going to plan. I'm ending it up there.
Ooh. Food for thought. I was actually going to bring up a tweet by the speaker, the current speaker, Wetangula, from 2015. Yeah, where he was trying to ask people to head to Weston. I've just been scrolling, see party, but Nikipata, I'll bring it up later. But that's what you can find on page 4 and 5. Is it there somewhere on the Daily Nation?
Yeah, it's on page 2 of the Nation.
Okay.
And here they're just speaking about unpaid loans, lost savings. Here is where you would find, if you guys check that story, here is where you'd find people crying. We took loans to build this. Someone literally said that I took a loan from my circle to build this for me and my children. Someone used his whole pension to build himself a retirement home. So on page 2 of the Daily Nation, people are crying.
Imagine working for 60 or 70 years. You built up, umesave. Kama kutoka sasa hivi mimi najidanganya na save. I save to invest on my retirement. Nikifika 65, nimejenga my palatial home, nimerelax, I have my title deed. Alafu nasikia tractor huko nje excavator.
You don't even have an eviction notice.
Oh man. We hope there's be justice which will be served here.
Maybe
but
quoting Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Ruto administration will have zero tolerance to inhumane eviction like it happened before. That is what he said, and that will not happen in his term as president. He even said that.
Zero tolerance indeed.
Yes.
Zero tolerance in inhumane eviction.
And if
Probably
you've noticed,
that was not inhumane. What we have seen is not inhumane.
So,
and if you've noticed, none of them has spoken about it so far.
Right.
None of them has spoken about it so far. And this just adds to their long list that's getting exhausting.
All right.
If I'm being honest.
Read for yourself there. Then let's get to the Daily Nation a bit and see what the priorities is here. NMS, the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. The Daily Nation here says NMS ghosts come for Uhuru's allies. House team calls for forensic audit of Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Operations here being questioned amid over tendering for city hospitals. Auditor General flagged several irregularities, and they've mentioned here people who've been summoned, including Kenothia Mbugwa, Susan I like it when they put the names of these people.
Know,
Yeah, it's important we name and shame in case there's need for shame. Kenothia Mbugwa, Susan Mochache, Richard Ngatia, and Richard Ngatia was supposed to vie for
the gubernatorial seat of Nairobi.
All right, so Dr. Gitai Githinji, and then they've shown here Uhuru Kenyatta and the NMS head from back then. Question number 1 is, let me just maybe get it from Ruth. This probe shows, the dysfunction that was there in some of these city hall activities by the Nairobi Metropolitan Service.
Yeah, apparently it's
Are you shocked, first of all? Are you shocked
in
at all?
Kenya? Nothing shocks you anymore.
Okay.
Nothing,
Yeah.
especially if it's anything about money scandals. Nothing shocks you anymore. Right now, I can tell you, Richard, that we have cases in courts, uncountable cases in courts from government officials that have squandered money. And we'll also see in the nation that the NYS scandal, they were let off. So this one is just going to be another one. They are going to be let off. It's not surprising.
Or they're going to vie for gubernatorial seats.
And then they're going to get the seats.
Maybe to mention, they are being probed by the National Assembly
Oversight
Committee that is led by nominated MP John Badi, who comes from the opposition, and Uhuru was supported an opposition candidate. Does that say that there is war between in the opposition, or is he just doing his oversight role? He talks about that as per the report of the Auditor General, they left a 14.8 billion unpaid debt that triggered these inquests, and that's why they want to probe and understand where these tenders legally or illegally given, because that is quite a huge bill. But what stand is, if you go to on site, those hospitals are there.
Yeah,
they are operational. They are helping Wanjiru. But we must also question if there were irregularities in awarding tenders.
Actually,
They are
there are some that are incomplete because I can see. I don't know if it's Madare or there's a hospital that is 15% complete. It's not yet complete. And the funny thing about this particular story here is that the tender was given to Amref. Now tell me, Richard, in what contract someone is given? I mean, a company is given 100%. Everything without even starting the job. Where does that
by the
happen?
county government? They've already paid.
When this contract was being awarded, Amref was given 100%
Down payment.
100% down payment. Let's just say full payment. They were given 100% down payment, and that's one of the questions that the committee is asking. Why was this different? Why was this special? Why did you have to give them 100%? Well, there are some laws that state you have to at least get maybe 50, 75, but why 100%? And then you're telling us there are some bills that are pending.
Right.
Why is this happening?
Rarida Member of Parliament Otende Amolo is quoted also wondering and questions on why some of the projects are ongoing after the contract expired. It's past 90 days, but bado kuna watu wanaendelea kazi, wanatuma invoices.
And there was no letter of extension. And the funny thing is that they're asking for more funding to complete the projects. And you guys were paid. Like, we paid you the full amount. And the sad thing, Richard, is that this falls on the common mwananchi because you promised us hospitals. These hospitals are not complete. These hospitals maybe are lacking some facilities. And I'm still paying my tax. Don't forget. Now this time around, by the way.
Right.
I'm still paying my tax, and then you're still asking for more money after we paid you the whole amount.
Right.
Which is why I'm telling you, nowadays, cases like this don't surprise us. We're just like...
You can't be shocked. NMS, just maybe to put it into perspective or into context for someone who's just learning of this, NMS, the Nairobi Metropolitan Service, was it really a service at this point? Questions you can think about. It was established in March 2020 after former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko handed over 4 county functions: health, transport, public works, and ancillary services, as well as county planning for the government to the national government, which was then, of course, given to the Lieutenant General Mohammed Badi, who was then appointed by Mr. Former President, His Excellency Kenyatta. I wonder why the Daily Nation calls him Mr. Kenyatta. Come on, guys. Mr. President. But what do you think this informs of Uhuru's appointments towards the end? There was a lot of questions even on expenditure. I know, Kimani, you've had a look at those spending bills. There was also a question of what who approved the expenditure between, I think, February and September of last year before the elections. Was there a rush in looting at the very end, Kimani?
Thank you very much. If you look at the entire story, and this is Kenya, you just know that if the probe is done, it has triggered some things. It is political witch hunt. Now by the opposition reaching to Uhuru. Yes, there were irregularities. But you look at the members of the committee. And we know in Kenya, we don't have justice is Justin and no longer justice. It is not even to the highest bidder, but to the highest interested party. Yes, we cannot deny. It will only be foolish to deny that resources were misappropriated. But the question is, why today? Why are we having it today? Probably, and even in the headlines, probably being there is a political angle I want to introduce this topic to. Who is chasing who? The people who have been mentioned are former controller of State House. We have a former gubernatorial aspirant, Nairobi, and who also served as the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry chairperson or president. The names mentioned here tells you something, that even though resources were spent and there were misappropriation of resources, of which people still see that NMS was just a way of swindling resources, then the timing should tell us something.
Okay.
When bilateral talks are continuing, when Ruto made Rigi said that he's reaching out to Uhuru, when the president in Kisumu, the backyard of this Badi and Radienda MP, says that Uhuru did a marvelous job in building MV Uhuru 2. I want to introduce the political angle in this.
Right.
Why? Because in Kenya, as I said, things are only persecuted if they are political. That is
a very good question to ask, actually, including what the Standard there had asked at the last of those land evictions. What informs the recent orders? I think it's also a question that we can ask here, even if we are also following up on misappropriation, but also what informs these recent orders. Read on it. NMS ghosts come for Uhuru's allies, page 4 and page 5. I think we could stick with Uhuru for a moment there and take a look at the Standard, the new UHC rollout plan. When I was preparing for this show yesterday and had a look at the universal health coverage, I breathed a sigh of relief. Nikasema, finally, maybe something positive to speak about. Yeah? Do you? I don't think you're. I don't think you don't look like you approve it that much. Universal health coverage. It's a rollout plan by the government, taking community health workers all the way to the grassroots level, going door to door. They launched, I think 2 weeks ago, 100,000 medical kits, and then they're also going to send out 100,000 of these medical officers. And on Friday, it's going to be finally launched. This was Uhuru's plan, right? This was Uhuru's, supposed to be Uhuru's legacy, but President William Ruto is taking it on. Can we celebrate?
And after it was launched in one of the counties, I don't know if it was the short term, akatoka akaenda and then ikabaki hanging pale. But I think it's a good one. If done right, this is going to help a lot, because if you look right now, the Kenya Kwanza government has tabled, I think almost all of them have been passed by Parliament for health bills. We have the infrastructure bill. I can't get the name right, but it's something about capacitation of hospitals. We have social health insurance fund. This one is supposed to take over NHIF. We have community. There are 4 bills, and if the universal health coverage plan is going to, which is going to include these 4 bills, is going to be done in a correct way, in an honest way, and in a not looting way. I think this is going to be a game changer in our health when it comes to our country. Because if you look at one of the primary healthcare bill, if you look at the primary healthcare bill, this one speaks of community health workers working from pale chini. We have a few community health workers wakitembea kule ushago, going door by door, looking at pressure, looking at blood sugar. This means that some of these chronic diseases will be discovered at an earlier age, and it will reduce the fatalities to Konazo when it comes to cancer, diabetes, and all this. If you look at the social health insurance fund, although imekuwa na a lot of controversy, if you look at it, it's also a nice way of trying and revitalizing our health sector. So for me, I think it's going to work if done right.
All right. I've actually found those bills. Maybe just let me mention them real quick. This universal health coverage bills is the primary healthcare bill, facility improvement financing bill, digital health bill, and then the social health insurance bill that you've mentioned there. In the social health insurance bill, the regulations are saying that it's going to be capped at 2.7% and a minimum of 300 Kenyan shillings, a maximum of 5,000 Kenyan shillings. Hopefully, this also contributes to improvement of financing towards healthcare. I commend it. I'm really excited by universal health coverage. I think on this show, for so many episodes, we've been pushing towards, taking a look at some of these services which can be availed to Mwananchi on a universal basis and a free or affordable level. Let's not forget what you said there. It needs to be honest in how they're doing it. The Ministry of Health was awarded 150 billion Kenyan shillings, and 18 billion of it is going towards this. So I think if there's anyone who wants to keep an eye out on this, so that 3 months later we don't get to read a new story here. UHC ghosts come for Ruto's allies.
Come for Ruto's.
Again,
and maybe
right?
if I mention one of the bills there, Richard, the digital health bill. This is a very nice bill. I remember I was the one who handled that story when it was in Senate up for debate. And the bill is all about, you see how you carry papers, documents going from hospital to hospital. Now you don't have to do that. Like if they send you for an X-ray in Nairobi, no Kokericho, they just send your details. You just have to take your
Tembea na kaki kubwa hivi.
Yeah, utembei na zile bahasha kubwa hivi. But also, I think mentioning that, I wanted to look at the issue of privacy. That was the one big animal in the room. The issue of privacy. How safe is the data of Kenyans? How safe am I? How safe is my status?
I wouldn't be so confident, Ruth. Ukikumbuka, I think it's 2 or 3 months ago tulihakiwa eCitizen, M-Pesa,
I wouldn't be so confident.
So, good question.
So I think as much as we are trying to, revitalize our health sector and making these big animal steps, there are some things we also have to, put in consideration.
And payment, because here on page 8 of the Standard, they are showing health union workers who are holding a peaceful demonstration at the Ministry of Health. It's so I like what the editor did on this page, right?
Standard does this.
It's a positive story on universal health coverage, but the main image is of health workers protesting.
It's like they're trying to remind them as you do this, please remember to pay us.
Yes. Usiende mbele na umesahau huko mali umetoka.
I think to begin with, better bottom-up transformation agenda is really being achieved here, where we will have, I think, 100,000 people employed. But I still have some questions. One, in the parliament, they have something we are calling about tyranny of numbers. The way this bill came, they have not been amended. Some of the suggestions are all the employees of NHIF will have to be rendered jobless. Will need to apply again.
Oh wow!
And I listened to the Senate's Nairobi senator saying that he tried to make that an amendment, but calls were being made from higher offices such that it passes the way it is. And that tells you that very soon we'll have another headline in one of our diaries talking about the ghost of who comes to haunt whose friend.
In this coverage.
Yes,
as well.
because the parliament should be a place where our minds, the people who we elected to do oversight and also registrations, have the freedom to change and amend these bills as they see and deem it fit to help Wanjiru. And Wanjiru, who is here now referred to in this government, Mama Mboga. When these bills are taken to parliament and they are passed without amendment, even a full stop, it triggers questions about interest. Because some of the suggestions talked about even the capping. These are things that are going to affect Wanjiru. I believe that these MPs should have a say in it because they are our direct representative. The senators should also have a say in saying that we can make it maybe 3.5 or 1.5 because they are the people who interact daily to daily with the people. When this bill was made, it was made by the ministry. I know they hired some consultants. So Wanjiru was never involved. The only way Wanjiru can be felt if when these bills are being discussed in parliament, we don't bring tyrannies of numbers where the opposition is told to bring alternatives, and when they do so, they are told that some of the MPs are saying, read the questions so that we can vote. We need to hear these discussions. Like I remember in the previous government, we used to have very good discussions, and people who love politics and will follow the Senate and the National Assembly, you will hear Kenyans' minds, Kenyans' thought on issues.
Now we have members of parliament who go to just sleep and rubber stamp and just rubber stamp whatever the executive has to say.
But I also wish to congratulate the government. If they are able to implement this program, it's going to be beneficial to Wanjiru. But my question, my prayer will be, one, mental health. Last month was a mental health month. Let it be included to be one of the things that can be treated by these UHC. Secondly, about and the government, the president and the deputies can be quoted saying that that we lose, families are going to poverty because of illnesses. Let us make it, and people, we know we are Kenyans. Whenever a member of my family gets sick, that is the time we will enroll.
Right.
One of the things that I know we had sent, some of our representatives, that is Nkusa, had sent in the bill was we had requested that it is made mandatory that anybody who is employed, either public or private, should be cut something should be taken directly from the source before getting the salary sent to go there, because we cannot have a nation that the one of the major problems that NHIF faces today is that people will only want to contribute when they have somebody who is sick. And the question, the principle of insurance is we pool
all contribute and then
resources so that we can help one in need.
And also, I think the biggest problem with NHIF was I'm contributing every month, but I go to a hospital and they tell me, nah, you are entitled to only this amount of money.
Right.
So I'm hoping in the new insurance
The
fund,
coverage is extended.
they are going to extend the coverage to make sure that at least I'm not contributing for nothing. I've had cases where you've contributed, then you get sick, you go to hospital and they tell you, no, we can only give you this much.
Right. Someone brought it up on social media and said, swali ilikuwa, what exactly then does NHIF cover if they don't cover this? Wanasema wana cover macho. Once they see you wana cover macho, they're not going to cover any of your illnesses.
Yeah, that's true.
But hopefully it extends also, because this month is one mental health awareness month. So it's good that you brought that up. They should be thinking forward that way. Also, it's cancer awareness month. So it's important that we also have this kind of discussion around health in this month.
And when we say universal, so it should cover everything.
Everything,
Universal. Or maybe if the government has changed the meaning of universal, they should tell us.
Yeah, all right. That is a story that you can read for yourself there on the Daily Nation. Guys, I want us to take a look at two stories, and then nyinyi mtanibringia some of yours there. I had one interesting one, which is fuel. Let's begin there. From the calculations that I have seen here, Super Petrol has been increased by 8 shillings over the weekend, diesel by 16, kerosene by 12. The government has resolved to cushion consumers through a stabilization mechanism to be funded by the Petroleum Development Levy, in line with the Petroleum Development Levy Order of 2020. I want to also tie this with the visit that President William Ruto is doing in China. President William Ruto is one scouting for public-private partnerships in his Chinese tour. So he's asked for Huawei and any other digital players to come through and improve our infrastructure in ICT, and others who want to tap into energy. He says we have a lot of renewable energy potential. I think 60 megawatts of solar energy untapped, or gigawatts, sorry, and 20 to 30 of hydropower, which is untapped, and he's asking that Chinese investors come through. So far, all I know is that majority of Safaricom's infrastructure is already run by Huawei. So I'm not so sure who is asking to come and help us through here. So it reminds me of the deal that we inked. I think you were here on this show when we were speaking about the Gulf energy deal.
Yeah.
500 billion Kenyan shillings on a country-to-country deal that was supposed to help us bring down the cost of fuel. So why is that not happening? Who is benefiting from 500 billion Kenyan shillings that was given? And you have to remember that a few years back, 500 billion, which is half a trillion, was at some point Kenya's budget, right?
Yeah, that's true.
For a year. So 500 billion Kenyan shillings, Gulf Energy Company. Whoever owns that is something that you can get to Google for yourself and find out. But now we have a situation where the price of fuel is going up every single month. And when it drops on the international market, we have never seen a revision, backwards. Hatujaiona price imepungua.
And I think Kuria was right then. We crucified him for nothing.
Said someone for the first time.
Crucified him for nothing. Because Kuria told us, starting this month, hadi February, mafuta inapanda na shilingi 10 kila mwezi. And when April released their reviews, what was shocking to me was the fact that wanasema kuna subsidy. You guys are telling me there is a subsidy.
There's a subsidy na unaumia bado.
There's a subsidy. And so according to the report, I think without the subsidy, petrol would have risen, I think, by 8 shillings.
Yes.
And kerosene, I think, by 16. And then we have diesel.
Sorry, kerosene by 12, diesel by 16.
Yeah. So I want to ask, ni ukweli kuna hii subsidy ama you guys are just saying there's a subsidy just for the sake of saying there's a subsidy?
They're calling it the Petroleum Development Levy. It's a new word.
But I will say,
and you're trying to cushion me. Just a minute. You're trying to cushion me from this, and I have you on record telling me that hawa watu na taxes zao za mafuta hawajui kenye mwananchi anapitia na hizi taxes za mafuta tutapunguza. But now I'd love a government that explains to me this is why the fuel of prices going up. You guys, unyali tuambia it was because of Russia and Ukraine war. You guys came apana si Russia na Ukraine.
Huyo anatudanganya sisi tuingie tu change.
Maybe ni juu ya vita ya Israel na
Hamas. Labda.
Oil haitoki huko.
Maybe
exactly.
No vita. Maybe the elephant in the room about fuel, and this is what a lot of politicians are afraid to say, is IMF. The running cost of fuel in Mombasa Port is way above. It's just 100 shillings and above. I think 100 to 120. But the fuel levies that we have introduced are the ones that are
the taxes on top of that landing cost.
Yes, that is what affects the nation. Who determines these taxes? The parliament. But then that means that our parliament is not independent. It is just a mouthpiece of IMF, not an extension. And the mouthpiece,
not even the executive. Umeruka all the way, umesema
mouthpiece
all the way to IMF and World Bank.
IMF. Because Kenyans need to be cautioned. We have invested billions in the fertilizer subsidy program. It's when you go to plant maize, remember that land was tilled using a tractor that used fuel. We are going to dry those maize when harvested using fuel.
Machines which use fuel.
We are going to transport that maize to the Kisiagi using fuel. And that one is going to be brought back to Wanjiru using fuel. Remember that when we are going to pay the one who is going to do that, because of the ripple effect of fuel today, we are going to increase his salary. So we have invested billions in subsidizing production, but its ripple effect, the ripple effect of fuel prices today is outweighing that subsidy. So it becomes irrelevant and a waste of government resources. What I'm saying is we need to have a conversation with IMF, face them head on and tell them that, yes, we know we have your loans, but the way we are headed, you want us to go to bankruptcy, or you want us to be said that we are unable to pay these loans.
Yeah, because I think it's like we are taking a step forward and 2 steps backward.
Right.
I did a story on I don't know if it was Baringo somewhere. I don't remember quite well, but they were crying that they've done their harvest of maize, but now the maize inaozea kule kwa nini?
Because
inaozea kule kwa store. Why? Because we don't have people to sell this to. Now what they forget is fuel determines the price of everything. Yes, you'll subsidize production and then tuta harvest and we do all this, but ile kisiagiko pale ushago mtu anatumia mafuta. Ile gari unabeba nayo unaletea watu inatumia mafuta. So as much as we've subsidized, we've tried to help us have a bumpy harvest, when the product is getting to the consumer, it's already hiked. Because I as a farmer nishauza mahindi yangu. Mimi mwenye nimenunua, I as a buyer mwenye nishanunua mahindi, trust me, I've bought the maize, I've used transport, I've used fuel for transport. Why should I put it at a lower price for you when I'm paying the price?
Now we're back to where we started.
It's like we are back to where we started. Yes, we don't want to subsidize consumption. We want to subsidize production. But are you putting in mind the ripple effect that this is having? I like when we had the 8% VAT. We weren't crying this much.
Right. Actually, the biggest burden on this fuel price is the taxes which are on top of them.
The taxes.
Between, I think, ni kama 17 of them.
Yes, I would call the president and tell him that, Mr. President, you have broken various promises that you said to Wanjiru. Break that promise about subsidy. Subsidize consumption of fuel. I know it is difficult to make that decision, but we have seen on previous accounts, you have broken promises about unga, about rand, evictions and stuff. Kindly work on subsidizing fuel, but instead I have a better solution. Work on the taxes on this fuel.
Okay.
remove them from fuel, take them to other products that are not, take them on alcohol, take them on things that are luxurious. And to twinkle, to join that, he's in China.
Right, that's why I wanted us to head to also. Yes,
he's in China.
President is in China.
We were told that a state government should work. I remember that joke of CS should go, Bosses Korea should go with just one person.
Just one other person.
No PAs. We have seen that these deals, MOUs, were signed by various PSs. Is he an exception or not?
Right. Our question is who watches the watchman? Yeah. So President William Ruto is saying that government officials shouldn't travel a lot. They should travel with this limited number of people. But who's checking on him? Who's going to keep a cap on his travel?
That's still a question.
Maybe to answer the question, the constitution is very clear. When we elect MPs, and that is why I always have issues with CDF, the constitutional rule is oversight.
Oversight of the government.
When we go to the Senate, they are also oversights of the county government. So
they should be the ones watching.
They should be the watchman of the
president.
The
watchman of the watchman.
Right?
Right.
But unfortunately, today, the watchman of the watchman, the president is the watchman of the watchman.
That's a funny one.
All right, umeleta uochi mama kwa gate lakini wewe ndo unamchunga na binoculars bado.
Yes. When you are in your house, in your bedroom, the watchman is sleeping, so you are the one who is in charge,
who's taking care of him.
Because
MPs are sleeping in parliament, honestly speaking.
Yes, and they are taking orders from the employer who should be being watched.
Right, that's true, that's correct. But now, away from, of course, the travel details, we all agree that we're not happy with all these travels. The president has been moving from the west, as in Africa, a Pan-Africanist, on the western front, anaongelesha the UN, reparations, nini, but he's also in the east. It seems he does not have an allegiance. Is
He's
he
still looking.
Is he still a darling of the West? Kimani kwanza wewe ndio ushinda ukimwita darling of the West.
I'll say this.
He's in China now, he's a man of all people.
Damage control, my friend. Damage control. I think the president has, even the reason why he's going to Haiti, positioned himself as a Pan-Africanist. And Pan-Africanists are neither supporters of the West or the East. They are talking about the African, they support Africans. And that's why we are seeing him saying so much vocal about Haiti. And as we'll say, it's because of the resources that come with it, but I think because of his positioning himself as a Pan-Africanist.
Right.
But at the same time, we must look at how many, the loan he's going to come back with from China.
Right.
Because every time, what lingers in Kenya's mind is, every time we go to China, when we are signing these deals, there comes with there is something that is going to come.
And remember, there's a government that said they are going to curb the amount of loans. I don't know if it's in the standard of the nation. There's a story I saw about they are raising issues about how the loans are taken and how much Kenyans have to pay. I don't remember kama ilikuwa standard ama nation. How much Kenyans have to pay. They're saying that there are some hidden fees pale ndani kwa hizi laws that comes with the state loans that maybe are making us pay for something we don't know. Unaambiwa this is the amount of money we are paying, but inside hidden kule there are few clauses that just make it high.
It's high time we have this in the public arena where a deal ikishafanywa between the president and it regards all our taxes. I think this is information we should be having. How much is it? It's something that should access on a public portal.
Access to information is a constitutional right. It is a right given in the constitution. So I will also support that proposal that we should have all these contracts, and we have promised to have some of them made public about.
You're still waiting for CS Korea to do that and more comment. It will take some time.
But I would also urge, as a Kenyan who understand economy, though I'm an engineer, would recommend that the government, if they have to borrow, let them borrow outside, not inside. We have a problem where we are borrowing from our local banks, and these local banks would want to give money to the government compared to Wanjiru or Mamamboga.
Right, and therefore there's less money going to the people and more going to the government,
so
which is still looting. And then
I would recommend the government, if they have to borrow, they can also consider we have gone to the west and the east. they should go to the north or the south.
Okay.
So that we are left in the middle instead of borrowing broccoli.
Okay. Also, the president, while he's in China, actually, just to put it into context, he's there not just really on a tour, but an invite by President Xi Jinping, who is invited actually just 3 African countries, and they are hosting the Third Belt and Road Forum, which is a celebration of the 10 years that the president of China brought these strategies of infrastructure all across the world, and also to their economic interest. One thing I have to agree is, let's borrow outside, but let's encourage investment from our own people. So the president is asking for Chinese investors to come through and create public-private partnerships, but I think we should get money outside and ask Kimani, ask Ruth, ask me to innovate something, and then tap into these loans. And I think that will get us more money into the economy. But I am just a normal mwananchi. Public participation is not really a thing that is taken seriously in this current regime, but hopefully sometime soon. Anything else, guys? I think time pia inatukimbiza sana. We've but
I think I'd want us to look at the JSS.
Yes.
The JSS, how it has been going, and in the Nation, page 7, you can see the lack of funds.
Right.
Is the elephant in the room, and by now about 14.7 billion has been poured out to make sure that GSS works correctly, to make sure that these students have labs, to make sure that learning is continuing. But right now we are still faced with lack of teachers. We're still faced with the lack of labs. In some schools, literally no learning is going on. You find schools that wanafaa kuwa na lab practice they don't have. What they do? That's a free lesson. That's a free lesson. Unajua mtoto akisikia free lesson anafurahia,
but only
where the problem is. And it's so sad that we still have this a year later, almost a year later, because next year the 2024 cohort is coming in, and you still have a lot of loopholes pale ndani, and no one is talking about it. Lack of funds, infrastructure, lack of teachers, infrastructure. I remember when JSS, when the first cohort was joining, that was I think in 31st January. We did a feature here on JSS, and by then the school we went with, the public school that we went to, they still had problems with teachers. And the problem is like mpaka saizi, these people are still going through the same problems. Where is 14.7 billion going? If you're telling me that you've poured all this money in there, maybe the question should be: is this something that maybe needs a second look? Is this something that needs to be looked at again, and maybe try and decide if this is the right time to continue with this before the next cohort comes in?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of loopholes here in the CBC, and the task force actually brought it into light. The Presidential Task Force on Education Reforms, the Working Party on Education Reforms, including that lack of training for teachers who are supposed to handle these kids. And I saw a teacher who's doing private tuition for these students saying they can no longer even handle private tuition because they are not aware of how this system is looking like. And this is a lot of money, guys. We've been mentioning figures here that we are normalizing. We're normalizing mentioning billions, 14 billion, mepotea, 13
maybe even before we go to the figures today, we knew, and the greatest failure of our nation that has led us to be in the mess we are in today is failure to plan, which is itself as a failure. We knew that when we introduced CBC, we knew that we needed to have teachers, we needed to have laboratories, we needed to have everything that we're talking about here, or my co-panelist is talking about here. If we have planned better and we have planned properly, we will not be facing these challenges. So the greatest challenge as a nation we have faced since independent to today is sometimes it has been a ministry or a state department of planning. It fails to plan about the future. For even going away from JSCC, when these students will be going next year, they will be joining. Some of them will be joining junior, senior secondary. We need to plan for them today so that we don't have the same challenges tomorrow. When somebody joins university, comes to pursue engineering KU. We need to have that database and know that 4 years from today, 5 years from today, we are going to have a graduate who needs to be employed. So that's why I say that the greatest failure of our nation since independence till today is the State Department of Planning. They are just there getting salaries, doing nothing.
Right.
And I think, Richard, we are going back to the age where education used to be for the ones who have. Because go to private schools, these kids are learning. A kid will make something for you and you're like, CBC did this. You know, go to private schools, they are learning how to save. They are learning how to innovate. And then we have our children in public schools.
Swimming in sacks.
Swimming in sacks, not now finding the teachers don't understand demolitions in Athi
The
River.
teachers, in fact, don't understand what this is about. And I remember there was a plan on training teachers. I don't know how that went, but there was a plan on training teachers about this. But the problem is you find that public schools are very, very, very capacitated. You'll find that the students are too many. In a class of 100 students, there's only one teacher handling all the subjects. Remember the subjects before they were dropped to 8. They were about, I think, 12 subjects. You can imagine a teacher handling 8 subjects. Uko peke yako, wendo hesabu, wendo English, wendo Kiingereza, wendo PE, wendo nini.
For a classroom full of hygiene.
Classroom hygiene. You're a female teacher. You're supposed to teach a male child on hygiene, on personal hygiene.
Now you have 100 of them.
You have hundreds of them. I think the Ministry of Education should give a second look to this, maybe before the next
and a serious
comes
one.
in. And a serious one, because the problem with our government has always been implementation. We have these big steps, you have these big dreams, but when it comes to implementing them, I don't know where the devil comes in. I don't know where the devil comes in.
That's a good question to ask Kenyans. Where does the devil come in? A religious state.
My friend,
you have a lot of issues.
My friend called Peter Chege from Ikinu, who is in USA, is telling me that we need to rethink about the entire planning of the nation, because that is where we have failed. And I'm also told to say hi by Mwangi, who was here last week, and he's telling me that I should remind you that he has invited you to attend Mkusa Mega Steve Chege Day that is going to be happening in Nanyuki, in Nyahururu. It is going to be a 3-day event that has town cleanup, medical checkup, and a memorial service remembering the founder of MKUSA. He's the executive director of MKUSA, and he's inviting you and all comrades and also all comrades and residents of Laikipia County.
Okay, guys, time is not on our side. Engineer Maish ataniua if I continue so much. So let's just get our final remarks in. There's a lot we could speak about. I had prepared, speaking of watchmen, I was going to talk about the DCI and their fake gold runs for the past 3 or so weeks. Every week there's something with fake gold in hundreds of millions, some including senators, some including ex-MP aspirants. But another day, we'll get the time. You are very tempted, Kimani, to say something. I'll allow you that to be your last remark, whatever you want to tell us there. Also, because you're a man of many quotes, you will give us your own quote, and then I'll have Ruth read this quote at the back of the Business Daily when the time comes. In the meantime, just let me give a shout out to the people who've been tuning into this session. Sami Weru tuned in from Kabete. Show iko fine, so much motivation. This man is wise. This is grand wins. Anasema, I think has to be you. Ama ni mimi? Oh, okay. Yeah, could be me too. Thank you, grand wins. Paul Kariuki, very wise man. Kimani Wachira. That's a great, of course, great statements that you're giving here. Tabasamu Wachira. Is it what I think it is?
Tabasamu Wachira is a brand name, but she's my sister.
Okay. I thought it's, anyway, tuned in. Anasema Kimani Wachira to the world. I have to make it clear here. Yes. All right, guys, let's get in our final remarks. Let me start with Wachira. Utupatie remark yako, utupatie quote, alafu tumalize na Ruth.
Thank you very much. I want to talk about, yesterday we had a game, Kenya and Russia. I think it went toward 2-2. That is Harambee Stars in Russia.
Yes.
I want to congratulate our boys.
Yes.
But I was hoping that they would have won the game because it would have been good to think that Kenya beat Russia.
Yes, true.
And in today's cartoon, the editorial made a very good cartoon of
That's
a tanker, the standard, of a tanker that has at the muzzle, it has the Russia as a country, and he's talking, and the president who is the commander who is driving that, commandeering that tanker, is talking about calling Palestinian and Israel side to implement immediate ceasefire, whereas they are having wars in Ukraine.
That's hilarious.
They did a very good cartoon. Maybe as I conclude, I want to thank you for hosting us, and also tell our youths that tujitume, form ni kujituma. We are saying that there is nothing for us without us. As we continue engaging, tujitume, tusisahau kwamba if we don't work smart, people are working out here hard and they are going home with nothing. I will end today's debate with a quote that if you put a pastor and a prostitute in one room, one is going to change the other. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh man. Oh wow. How do I top that? Anyway, Ruth, your final remarks and then the quote at the back of the Business Daily. Also, because we've been very, I like that he's been positive at the end, tujitume. I feel like we've touched on very contentious issues here. Alafu ni sensational kidogo, ni very sensitive. So end it on a positive note here. Alafu ndo tusome quotes.
So mine would be to tell guys out there, take care of your mental health. It's important. As much as we are going through, the surge of the high cost of living, the highs and downs of demolitions and all that, take care of your mental health. It's important. It always has been. That is what builds you and breaks you. Yeah.
All right. The quote at the back of the Business Daily, I think it's by Steve Jobs.
Yeah, by Steve Jobs.
Okay.
You cannot mandate productivity. You must provide the tools to let people become their best.
All right, let's get it again.
You cannot mandate productivity. You have to provide the tools to let people become their best.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruth and Kimani, for creating time. You can get to see more of Ruth at KUTV Newsroom, but you should tune in to 6:30 p.m. Mizizi Habari, 9 p.m. Primetime News. And sometimes she makes cameos here and there on entertainment shows like that is Top in Africa on Fridays. So sometimes she's a fun person, sometimes she's a serious person. And Kimani Wachira, of course, our resident political analyst. Asante sana, guys, for creating time here. That's a wrap for us here, but the laughter lingers on. Remember, laughter is the best business strategy. Continue to laugh, continue to love, and continue to get your profits higher. Thank you for tuning in to KUTV Rise today. This is the best morning breakfast television show on your screens. Every Tuesday morning, we come with Biashara Tuesday, but preceded, of course, before by Karen Blessing on Art and Culture Monday, a very fun time. And then let's meet again next Tuesday and repeat this. I will see you on social platforms at Richard_Okenye. That's where you get